Hello there, guys. My name is Christian Wechter, and I'm a part of a four-person team that makes up the company called Cosmetic Sprint. Cosmetic Sprint aims to reimagine the delivery systems used for the cosmetic industry. An interesting statistic that we found was that cosmetics industries are estimated to be worth right now at $532 billion, while it's estimated to grow to $805 billion by 2023. This gives you the idea of how big this industry is. And I now want to talk about why we want to be a part of this industry. This industry has consumers that often face issues like damaged product from deliveries that like Uber or Amazon or any other delivery system currently in place, as well as running out of product and not having time to get that product. The cosmetic industry right now does not have a specialized delivery system for cosmetics, and we hope to fill that void and be able to deliver fast, reliable, and specialized care for consumers of cosmetic products. My team members will be talking about these four subjects. I'll be talking about the monetary investment, but Emma Boyer will be talking about the external stakeholders, and Mallory Pavick will be talking about the internal stakeholders, while Jamie Alexander will head off the analysis of Cosmetic Sprint. I want to lead off the next slide for Emma Boyer. She'll be discussing why our competitors and companies that will be helping us are important to Cosmetic Sprint and why us, Cosmetic Sprint, is important to them.
Let me see. So as you can see here, I'm going to kind of go over the basic definition of external stakeholders. What they are individuals, organizations, or companies or groups that have an invested interest in an organization. Customers are incredibly important external stakeholders in organizations because they hold an invested interest in the well-being and whatever the company is doing. They're external because they do not come from within the company, but are from an outside perspective that want to purchase and be a part of that organization. And so they do that they have to come from an external point of view. External stakeholders are so important because they're kind of like the glue that holds together the business because they give them funds to survive as well, also media attention. This is why they arguably have the most influence on the company. So it's like whatever stakeholders are talking about, whatever they want, usually the company will kind of bend in the direction of them. So our main stakeholders for Cosmetic Sprint would be the public or like the consumers, because it kind of is up to them whether or not they want our product or if they are going to be using our product, and which is a service, in this case, not product. We need their support because we would need their support in order to continue. So it just talks about how the purchase of our service would be a great use, and that's why we should be focusing more primarily on how to make our external stakeholders, such as the public, happy. That also goes for vendors, because without our vendors who would supply our organization, I go in a little more into another vendor that we would have that is considered an external stakeholder in the next slide. So Ulta Beauty is an external stakeholder that would take an interest in our company because they, like us, want to run a business and they have an audience that they want to supply. And so by offering them our services and talking to them about collaborating or doing some kind of working together and grouping with them, it would make their profits grow as well as ours, because they would be able to reach an audience that they have not been able to before, such as individuals that don't want to leave their house for whatever reason, whether they just like purchasing online because of the convenience of it, or they prefer not to go out because of, for example, COVID-19, or they don't have the time. Our next vendor is Uber. And so this one was a little more interesting, because at first it doesn't really seem like something that, like a company that would take a huge interest in ours. However, I believe that this company would want to see the success of Cosmetic Sprint, as it may drive more business towards them as well. We would be, for example, if we had an employee that didn't have a mode of transportation to fulfill the order that they promised they would, they could in fact call an Uber, or even and get the product before using an Uber to get it to the person that needed the product.
Hi, I'm Mallory, and I'll be talking about our internal stakeholders, which are the entities of our business, and they make sure everything is running properly. Our business, Cosmetic Sprint, will include one main manager, 10 drivers, and one software engineer, with a total of 12 employees, just to start off, as we're new, obviously. And our software engineer will be managing our app. So we will be using a traditional approach to our communicational channels. We'll be using downward and upward communication. Downward communication originates with those higher in organizational authority and is directed at those with less authority. So our drivers can receive specific instructions from managers, and drivers can give managers feedback. Our upward communication originates with the individuals who are lower in organizational authority and moves up the chain of command. So managers and drivers can communicate what is currently happening in the business, and drivers can communicate issues that customers are currently having, like maybe with the app or a product. We will have some communication principles along with Cosmetic Sprint to follow. Our first one will be managers need to listen to their employees talk about what is important to them to understand their concerns. This is a very great principle that we need to follow, because this will allow our employees to communicate with our managers and the software engineer effectively, saying their feelings, or if something is wrong in the business, making easy communication. Hopefully they'll work harder knowing that they will be able to be heard. We also want to follow the principle when managers communicate with their workers, they accept input from them, and improves morale and productivity. This boosts their productivity because they feel as if they have an opinion and can communicate their feelings in the business. We also want to communicate that we have multiple opportunities to move up in our business. We want to have training opportunities to where they get periodic training, so we can see their level and hopefully move them up in the business, as well as internal opportunities where we ensure that there's a clear, when they're hired or new hires, that there is possibility for them to move up in our business. We want our company to grow and want to ensure our managers and drivers know this is possible for them. It also creates a will for workers to work hard and achieve more for themselves and for our company. Now, this is our organizational chart. We have our main manager communicating to our software engineer, all to the drivers. So if drivers have an issue with the app, or if customers have an issue with the app, drivers can tell this to the software engineer and main managers, and it's a very fine line of communication for us. So as you can see, our internal stakeholders are pretty much our business. They control everything, and they are very important. Now I'm going to lead you to Jamie to talk about some of the issues that can happen with this.
Hey, hello everyone, my name is Jamie, and I will be going over the organizational analysis and issues with our organization. Some key features of our organization is the flexibility. As independent contractors, Cosmetic Sprint delivery drivers will have more flexibility in their work schedule, and this will lead to a lot less time-based conflict and more satisfaction overall. Interpersonal conflict is unlikely to arise between drivers. However, interpersonal role conflict may arise if drivers feel that other drivers are picking up more lucrative orders than they are, even though they are on the same level of the company. And as for organizational exit, managers and software engineers leaving the company may be invited to an exit interview to invade the organization. However, some potential issues we foresee when it comes to the organization is anticipatory socialization. So due to previous experience with delivery apps, potential drivers may not want to complete deliveries if they don't think the orders will be lucrative to them. So if a driver is inexperienced with makeup, they may not see this app as a worthwhile venture for them. As well as delivery driving and contracted work is just not seen as real work yet because it doesn't use an education, doesn't have a 9-to-5, doesn't have benefits, etc., etc. However, hustle culture is framing delivery and driving as an ambitious effort, as a side hustle, as a way to make more money and network with more people. So in time, this may become a lot better deal for us. And now the changing work environment. So as technology adapts, so will legislature. So the faster we adapt, the better for us in the long term. Legislature has been introduced in other states that would require businesses that are very similar to ours to classify their drivers as employees instead of as independent contractors, which would cause a lot of changes throughout the entire organization. So it will be best to keep up with the times and monitor this as we introduce Cosmetic Sprint to more locations.
Christian Wechter again, and I would like to talk about the monetary investment. Our budget includes these following items where we looked at for the variable cost and fixed cost the first year for starting the business. The estimated budget for all those items turned out to be $1,057,656 for the first year. And again, that was estimated from, if it was a monthly payment, we times that by 12 to figure that out, and then added the fixed costs to the total. We estimate the return on investment for 5 years because we want to give the time to be able to make the profit. And it might even turn out to be only 3 years or 2 years, but it really depends on how much help we get, which turns us to our monetary investment. We are looking for $1 million because we want to be able to cover most of the cost to start up for the first year so that we can focus on making the profit and also improving the company instead of worrying about different costs that one would normally have to work out without help. So Jamie and Alexandra will be discussing the conclusion of this presentation.
Thank you, Christian. So in review, we've gone through the external stakeholders, the internal stakeholders, our monetary investment that we're asking of you, and some key takeaways from our organization and issues that we are ready to tackle head on. By investing in Cosmetic Sprint, you're investing in the future of convenience and cosmetic industries. Cosmetic Sprint will provide safety and convenience for lovers of all things beauty in Phoenix metropolitan area during these uncertain times and beyond. By investing in Cosmetic Sprint, you're investing in our future. Act now to lead the pack in this transformative time.